Hello and welcome to the New London 30-Minute Podcast. I'm Lanaya, and today I'm joined with Sadie and Reed, and we're going to be talking about horror movie killers. Cool. Okay. All right, our first one. We all know him. We all love him, I guess. We've got Michael Myers. So.
Which one?
Let's do. I don't know. Yeah, we didn't think. What's your favorite one?
The Rob Zombie one.
Mine too. Do we all collectively like the Rob Zombie one more?
I like his long hair.
Same. I also like that he's like terrifying. Like he's more terrifying in the Rob Zombie one than the other one. So, Rob Zombie's 2008 Halloween Michael Myers. So he uses like a kitchen knife mostly to kill his victims. And he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital as a child for the murder of his older sister. Well, I guess we're talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween. It was his older sister, his older sister's boyfriend, and his dad. Killed all of them. Yeah.
Fun.
Get it, dude. And then after he was captive, he broke out and he started his killing spree. And his intention was to kill his little sister, Laurie Strode. Mm-hmm. So, what do we think? What are our opinions on Michael Myers?
Michael Myers, he's all right for what he is, but I feel like
tread lightly. I love Michael Myers.
Yeah, I know. I do too. But like, there is a point, mainly in Halloween Kills, where it doesn't quite work all the time. I feel.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
All right, because think of the originals. All right, he stalked his prey. You know, he was an animal. The whole point. Dr. Loomis said it all the time. He's an animal. He's primal. You know, he stalked his prey, almost but this thing where he just kind of walked through bullets. You know, he's a human person.
Okay,
he can't just walk off bullets and then just start murdering thousands of a whole town, pretty much.
Okay, you got a bit of a point there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, but the 2018 Halloween, before they started doing all the Halloween kills and ends and all that stuff, before they started doing that, the 2018 Halloween was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it, personally. And, yeah. I don't really know what else to say about that one. I thought you were talking about Rob Zombie. What happened to that?
I feel like the series, you know, we didn't even mention H2O.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't need to mention H2O.
So
we like to pretend that one didn't happen. So if you could rate Michael Myers on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate him and why? Sadie?
Rita was about to talk. Would you like to go, Reed?
No, you go.
No, go, Sadie. Go.
I don't know. I mean, if I saw like a ginormous man walking towards me with a kitchen knife,
right?
I would be terrified.
Right? I'd be begging. I'd be, please, don't kill me.
Except in that moment that I was about to die.
Yeah,
but,
I think I'd be like, yeah, there's no way I'm outrunning this kid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a kid. That would anger him.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe like a 8, 9, 9.5. I don't know.
So those were 3 different answers.
Along those lines.
Yeah, I think I'd give him like a 9, because I think if we're talking about like who we'd be afraid of the most, for sure he's like up there.
Yeah, I'd give him a solid 8.
So he's all in our high rankings. That's what I'm saying.
If we're going strictly off the original, he'd probably get an 8.5. But like,
I feel like if we were going off the original,
throughout the whole series, he just deserves a solid 8.
Yeah, and like Rob Zombie specifically.
That would
like
be 9.
that's a 9. Yeah,
that's a 9.
That's a 9.
That is one scary dude right there.
Yeah,
man.
for real. All right.
Want to talk about Jason then?
Go ahead.
I feel like Jason is something different.
Yeah, I feel like Jason.
He's what Michael Myers could have been if Michael Myers came out before Jason.
Yeah, true.
You know, he likes to slash, crush, impale, dismember, or decapitate all of his victims with his machete, sometimes with a spear, sometimes with a hatchet. You've played the games. We all have, probably. And
I don't know.
As a little boy, he was drowned in a lake. Everybody knows the story. So now he goes out to get revenge on all the counselors who are out having dirty no-no time. And that's pretty much the story. That's his whole motive.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. First of all, if you are going to this Camp Crystal Lake, and you know that there's a man who's, how tall is he supposed to be? Like 6'5"?
7 something. Some of the actors were like 7 foot.
Well, yeah, but like averaging it out, he's like 6'5", 6'6" ish. Yeah. He's what, like 300 pounds. He's really built. If you are going to this camp and you know that this man stalks this camp, why would you go there?
You're asking for a death wish.
You're like, yes, Jason, come right here. Yeah, come get me. I'm terrified of Jason personally. I think him and Michael Myers are on like the same wavelength.
Yes.
Of like huge and terrifying.
Yeah. He definitely did scare me a lot more than Michael Myers did, because I watched Michael Myers. I forget which one it was. I think it was Halloween 4, but he just like crashed his arm through, pulled the girl. I watched Freddy vs. Jason, which is definitely a lower ranking movie.
Definitely a lower ranking movie.
And that scared me more than the whole Halloween franchise, I feel like.
I think Freddy vs. Jason was a really good like brand deal. Sure, let's call it a brand deal. Yeah. I think it was a really good one. Yeah, it was a good crossover because it was like, well, these are two, I wouldn't call Freddy beloved, but two beloved horror movie killers who are scary, I guess. We'll talk about Freddy when we get there. But I feel like that was a really good one, and I'm really mad at how the turnout of it was because it was kind of ridiculous. But
I feel like it should definitely have had a definitive ending.
Definitely should have had a definitive ending.
But you can't tell me you didn't see Freddy wink at the end and it didn't like fill you with like something.
Joy and pride and
you're like, this man just winked at us.
Excitement. This man just winked at us.
Then it got rebooted.
Ooh.
Yay, reboot.
When was Friday the 13th rebooted? Like 2010?
No, Nightmare got rebooted.
I know, but I'm talking about Friday the 13th because that one got rebooted too. They all got rebooted.
Yeah. I don't think Friday's going to get any more reboots.
No, definitely. I don't think so.
Because there's like a legal issue with it.
And also because I just feel like Jason's story is done. Like, I feel like we know quite a bit about Jason, which is why I'm still confused with how they are still making Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Because, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that one. So, Jason, what would we rate him?
All right, so are we talking about Jason like through the whole thing? Like, you know, he uses the throwing knives, bear traps, you know, everything.
Through the whole thing.
Just in general.
Through the whole thing.
In general, yeah.
I'm probably, again, I just said he was a little bit better than Michael Myers. He's what Michael Myers could be. I'm going to give him an 8.5.
Ooh.
Because he's definitely had his bad moments as well.
He definitely has. Can we talk about Freddy vs. Jason? Anyways, Sadie. That's my chair.
Probably like a 9-ish. Or like almost a 9.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I'm going to rank him lower than Michael Myers. But only because... wait. No, I'm thinking about it. Because Jason is, like, scary in the way that, like... First of all, his mask doesn't really fit his face. So it's like... he's got this big old body, and then he's got this little circular mask on. And you're like, should I be scared? And then you realize that you should be because he's, you know... got the machetes, waving it, you know. So you definitely should be scared of him. I don't know. I'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8. Sadie, would you like to introduce our next one?
Freddy Krueger. Kind of boring. Anyways, he uses a bladed leather glove to slash and slice his victims. He was a child predator who killed children.
Children.
Before he was killed by his victims' parents by fire. And he also attacks his victims in their dreams.
Because he's weak and lame and he can't get people in real life.
He killed multiple people in real life. That was the problem. That was his whole backstory.
You know what I mean. When he became like the Freddy Krueger, you know, when he became that, it was like he could really only kill people in their dreams, which translated to killing them in real life as well. But still, it's like you got to prey on them when they're asleep.
Like the way that he goes at it,
right?
Like the way that he kind of
it's so
starts
weak.
Out. It's
and also, Freddy Krueger's like 5'7", and like
Short King.
No, not a short king. Not a short king. He doesn't get the short king title. Yeah, he's like 5'7". He's like 160. Like, dude, I'm not scared of you.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of you.
All right, but hear me out. He has the best quips of any franchise, not even horror. You can't tell me you didn't see that TV scene, and you didn't just giggle a little bit. He has some great quips. He also has some awful, terrible movies.
He does have some very awful, horrendously terrible movies.
I think in total of the entire series, I probably like 3 of his movies.
I don't even like 3 of his movies. I like 1, and that's no. Actually, the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot wasn't that good.
No.
Maybe I don't like any of his movies. Wow. Yeah, I hate Freddy Krueger. I hate him so much. Yeah. He's literally the worst.
What would you rank him out of 10 then?
Definitely a 2. He gets a 2 because in some of the movies there are some good kills.
Yeah.
I will say he's got some moments where it's like the waterbed kill.
Iconic.
Classic.
Yes.
We all know it. We all love it. But him as like, first of all, his backstory, he's a disgusting man. He's terrible, and he's I just hate him. Mm-hmm. So I'd give him a 2.
All right.
I'd also give him a 2.
Now, Reed, if you say anything higher than a 5,
I'm gonna give him a 6, man.
He only said that because I said something.
You can't tell me you don't see a red and green striped sweater and you're just not just like, yo, that's Freddy Krueger right there.
No, and I see red and green striped sweaters, I think about like Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas.
I saw one the other day. Like if it's not worn around Christmas time, I saw like where it's like the stripes going like this. And I was like, that's a Freddy Krueger sweater. That's what that is.
Whatever. You want to give Freddy Krueger 6.
Or the hats, man. All right.
Yeah, whatever.
I think it's your turn, Lanaya.
It is my turn. Give me this paper. All right. We got Leatherface. So he uses hammers, meat hooks, and chainsaws. And he is known to deface his victims and wear their faces. And, okay, so I found this out while I was looking him up. Apparently, he is based on a real person.
He's based on multiple.
I know, but, like, there's a specific one of this dude who, like, killed people and wore their faces. His name's Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
Gein.
There you go.
Gein. Ed Gein. And I was like, what the heck? Because I never knew that he was based on a real person until I looked it up. So that's terrifying.
Quick fun fact about Ed Gein. He not only wore them around, but he also made furniture out of them. And when the cops raided his home, they found a bunch of flesh furniture just all throughout the house.
Comfy.
Comfy. Comfy. Yeah, okay. So Leatherface. First of all, Texas Chainsaw Massacre wrecked my brain. I think Leatherface is terrifying, but only because in the reboot of like, it was like 2018. It's really recent. Not really recent, but recent enough.
Like not the newest one, but the one right before it.
Yeah, that one. And there's like a scene where I'm like you literally watch him like saw off somebody's face. And I was like, what the heck? Like that's actually terrible. Because if I saw that actually happen, I don't even know what I would do. I'd just be like,
I'd pee
what
a little.
is that?
Yeah, same. I'd be a little.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like the Texas Chainsaw like franchise movies. They're just not my kind of movie. They're boring to me.
I get it.
I do like 2 of them. There are 2, and it's the most recent one, which it just had a little bit more action. It was still pretty boring to me, but it was still just a little bit like better than the rest. I feel like. Yeah. And the one where his brother. It was like all 80s and disco, and his brother just like attacked the woman.
Oh my goodness.
And like he fell in love with the protagonist. That was great, man.
No, I haven't. Okay, so I haven't watched too many of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, but the ones that I did see, I mean, the premise of them are pretty boring though. Like if you took, I don't know if this makes sense, but if you took Leatherface out of it, it would be so dumb. Like you'd be like, this is a stupid movie.
Because it's supposed to be a documentary.
Yeah, but it's so lame. I don't know. I think the actual movies aren't that good, but I think him as a killer is terrifying.
Yeah.
He's definitely a product of his time.
For sure.
And really for that, even though I don't really like the franchise, I'm probably going to give him a 7. Just for what he is and how good he does it.
Yeah, I get that. I think I'm going to give him... I don't know. I've been ranking everybody kind of high so far, except for Freddy, of course. I don't know. I'll give him a 6.5 because his like person, he's like scary. Yeah. But I feel like if your movie sucks, I'm not gonna want to watch it. Yeah. So it makes me not like it that much. But
I was also gonna give him a 6.5.
So us. We think alike. There's that for you.
All right. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, we've all rated that
we're
ready.
Leatherface, Jigsaw. All right.
Leatherface. Okay.
Don't talk to me, man. All right. So Jigsaw is a killer that uses lethal traps, which Lanaya wrote kind of boring on here. I think it's pretty awesome.
Sadie wrote
I
kind
wrote
of
that.
boring.
Sadie wrote kind of boring.
did.
All right. I'm mad at you then.
I'm torn on if I agree or not.
Also, he
Okay.
says he's not a
Yeah.
serial killer, but he is. He most definitely is.
Most definitely 100% is.
And Jigsaw's real name is John Kramer, and he uses a little puppet named Billy, which I just absolutely love him. It's so great.
Oh my gosh.
And he got a recent diagnosis for cancer and chooses his victims to see if they are willing to fight to live. And he kind of holds himself to a moral high ground
Yeah.
compared to everyone else.
Yeah. Because, I have my own debacle with John Kramer. But I do like his traps. I think he's got some pretty elaborate traps. Like the shotgun carousel. That one's terrifying. But also it's the way he like chooses the way he does his traps is also weird because it's like, well, I'm not gonna kill you yet, but I'm gonna make you kill a bunch of other people,
Yeah.
and then if you don't like win, you're gonna get killed, which is also just like a terrifying premise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine waking up in a jigsaw trap.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Something
nothing.
somebody else did.
For nothing. Remember the one where literally, I think it was like Saw 5 or something, but he killed his wife, who was innocent and did nothing but love her husband, who had no clue what he was doing, and she ended up dying for it.
Yeah. Another thing, most of the traps he didn't even make. Because the farther down the series you go, the farther you're like, oh, he had this guy make the traps the whole time. It was never him.
It's always somebody else because he always had this long line of these people who were helping him. And it was like, what the heck, dude?
For as elaborate as the Jigsaw movies are and how like morally coded they are, they're not very complicated. You don't have to talk to him. You say Jigsaw and you're like, oh, it's that guy with 1,000 different apprentices that made a bunch of traps that were unbeatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That he got mad at them for.
So you know what, Sadie? I do agree with you're kind of boring.
See?
I don't agree that they're boring. It's definitely fun to watch. I know,
Yeah.
call me a sadist.
They're fun
but,
to watch. They're fun to watch.
They're
for
most
sure.
definitely fun to watch.
I'm not talking about like his traps because they're good.
But like him as a person.
yeah, he's
kind of boring.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you want to do when you get cancer, Sadie? Like,
What are you gonna do when you
Okay.
well, what would you do, you know?
Well, I don't think I would put people in traps
Yeah,
and
I
be
don't
like,
think I'd go that route.
fight for your life.
Have the cop beat you to death because you wouldn't tell him that his son was safe the whole
Yeah,
time?
I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd be on that
Yeah, nah.
wavelength, honestly.
So Jigsaw, not really complicated. Complicated movies, really good movies. The earlier on they are.
Yeah, the earlier on, I feel like the more it gets
the
like,
farther down
after
down
like
it gets.
Saw 4, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
where are we going with this?
yeah. They
I
kinda,
feel like the storyline's also pretty like all over the place.
most times it is.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where it's like you can't just jump in and decide, I want to watch Saw 3 because you're gonna have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Who's this random man? I thought it was John Kramer. You know?
Right, exactly. So, personally, if I was rating Jigsaw, I'd give him a 5. A 5.
I'd also give him a 6.
Also?
Also?
Give him-
As same as Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
I'd
I was
give him a
like,
6.
I gave him a
not
5. I
say
was so
6.
confused. I was like,
I'm bringing your
definitely
rating
didn't
up.
say
You know.
6.
No, I'd give him a 6.
Right in between there, 5.5.
5.5.
All right.
All right.
Is
Is
my
it?
turn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you.
Okay. Pennywise.
Dancing clown.
Eats or takes the soul of her victims. Yeah. Apparently it's a girl.
That's what I discovered. I looked it up. It is a girl.
Yeah.
She. Pennywise is a she.
Comes to prey on children of Derry, Maine every 27 years. That's an odd.
That's such. Yeah,
Number.
that's an odd number. I feel like
Yeah.
that's really
so
weird.
random.
And you know how you find the reasoning on why it's 27 years? You have to read probably most of what Stephen King writes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Pennywise is literally in, like, since the book came out, I know, I read it, I'm a nerd.
You read it?
I read the whole It book, yes.
Isn't it like?
Yes.
That thick.
Yeah.
Isn't it like the length of the Bible? Like,
It's longer than the Bible.
is it actually?
It feels like it, man.
I would have believed it if he would have said something
Yeah.
in the Bible. I'd be like, probably.
Probably.
Probably, you know.
How
But
does he write all that?
Pennywise, man, just to get more backstory on it past the book, which there's, like, a few bits, but you get more backstory the more Stephen King you read, because Pennywise, since it came out, is in almost every novel.
Why? Why does he do that? Why does he
because
have to?
People just constantly see the dead lights, these weird lights, the dead lights, you know?
Yeah.
It's just referenced in every single novel, it feels like.
Yeah, but also like it didn't really kill that many people when you think about it.
Yeah.
It was like it killed Georgie, and then it killed like a few other people or whatever, and then it like possessed other people to kill other people and stuff like that, and it was weird. But all in all, Pennywise kind of boring. Terrifying, but boring.
Yeah.
This is one case where I'd be like, if you read the book, you're just gonna be like, this is so much more messed up than the movies.
Well, yeah, but
just,
as people who have personally not read a book
yeah.
the length of the Bible, we aren't really on the whole yay Pennywise train.
Yeah. Honestly, if we're just going off of the movies,
Yeah, just off the movies.
my rating for Pennywise would probably be a 5.
I'd give her a 4. She's kind of boring. She could do more. You know, she's got all them teeth.
I did like I do like
something.
when it turns into spiders.
I do like that part. I like when it turns into spiders, and I like Bill Skarsgård's acting, because Bill Skarsgård is just amazing. I'm a Bill Skarsgård advocate. Did you write
4.5?
4.5? Okay,
Right in the middle.
right in the middle again. All right. Next up, we've got a personal favorite of mine, Chucky. So he stabs, pushes them out of the windows, just about anything he can do to kill his victims. And he's known as Charles Lee Ray, and he mostly preys on children so he can transfer his soul back into a human body.
Oh, Charles.
Oh, Charles. He's got so many witty one-liners.
You know how he said Freddy had one of the best quips in all? Nah.
Yeah.
It's got to go to good old Charles.
It's got to go to Charles, man. I feel like
Charles.
if you're thinking about the like quickness and the wittiness and all that, it definitely goes to Charles.
Yeah.
Because Charles is hilarious. Some of the stuff that man says gives me a good hoot.
Dude, honestly, I didn't really like Curse of Chucky all that much, but when I tell you, when she peeled back his face and all of a sudden you hear, "You've got your mother's eyes." Dude, I jumped out of my seat. That got me excited.
Jumped out of my seat. I love Chucky, personally. Child's Play 3 was not good.
Child's Play 3 was bad.
Curse of Chucky was not good.
Also,
But it's okay because it's, what is it, successor or predecessor? What is it
it
called?
would be successor because it came after.
Its successor, Cult of Chucky, is a lot better, and it like also makes up for if you hadn't seen Curse of Chucky, you could still watch Cult of Chucky and still be like, oh wow, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
But I think if we're throwing it back to like the OG roots, Child's Play 100% one of the best movies ever.
Of course.
Yeah.
100%. I think Chucky's one of the greatest horror movie serial killers.
That scene where he like takes him to the scrapyard to go blow the one guy up because he owed him money when he was still a human.
That was
cold.
And then
man.
the way it like all blew up, and it was just so good. It's so good. However, if we're saying things that we're scared of, would you be scared of a doll?
I'd probably be his friend if he if it was like he talked to me the same way he talked like in the show. Like if it's just a doll, yeah, I'm terrified of dolls.
Really?
Like straight up, like I'm terrified of dolls.
Okay, but also I feel like Chucky, since there is a soul in there, I'd be a little scared.
That's a little scary.
Because like imagine like looking into the eyes of a doll, but it's like the eyes of a person's soul.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, maybe Chucky is a little scary, but also imagine like the last thing you hearing being like one of his little
Quippy one-liner.
His
I'd be
little
so
one-liners.
angry, dude.
I'd be mad too.
They'd have to make a horror movie on how I came back to haunt Chucky, dude. I'd be
For real.
so mad.
Yes.
That would be my unfinished business if I got
unfinished
killed with a
business.
quippy one-liner, dude.
And I had to come back and avenge myself. I'm not going out like that.
All right.
All right.
Honestly, Chucky, he deserves a 10.
He deserves a 10.
Yeah.
I think it's 10s across the board with Chucky.
All right. So this one's mine.
You guys are going to have to take this one over.
This one's just me because she's barely watched Hellraiser and you haven't watched it at all.
No clue.
So
not the slightest.
Our next one is Pinhead. And he kills his victims by tearing them apart with hooked chains. And he was a captain.
I looked all of this up. This is all directly from Google. I didn't know a thing about Pinhead.
He was a captain in the British Expeditionary Force, which he suffered with PTSD from, and he lost his faith. He lost his faith and became a priest of hell.
Oh my God.
And can I just say, Hellraiser is a very strange movie. Like, it's one of those you either love it or you don't. And by the third one, it's just weird. Because like the first one, it's scary, you know. Second one, they bring in like the split personalities. It gets a little weird, you know. They fight off, you know. It's just, but then you bring the third one in, and it just feels like it's a retro. It's a joke. By the third movie, it feels like it's become a joke. And so the whole series just kind of goes downhill. So I'll keep it quick and short and say Pinhead as a character, he deserves an 8, but the franchise definitely deserves only a 3.
Well, I've looked up pictures of him on the internet, and he has pins in his face, and it's scary. So I'll give him a 4.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Ghostface.
Okay, do we love Ghostface or do we love Billy Loomis and Stu Macher? That's the real question.
It's the latter.
Because I think it's the latter as well.
8-inch hunting knife. Billy Loomis and Stu Macher in the original killed their victims as an act of revenge as Sydney's mom caused Billy's parents to split up. Stu went along because of peer pressure, and he was mentally unstable, so there's also that.
Yeah. That man, Stu was definitely mentally unstable. If we're talking about just the original Scream, which personally I think the original Scream and the newest Scream, which is technically Scream 5, I think those are the best ones. But I also hated Scream, the recent Scream, because of how it ended. But I don't want to spoil anything, but just know one of my favorite characters dies, and it's the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I was tragically upset by it. It was awful. I was so angry. So Scream.
I feel like Scream and like Ghostface is a hard one to like rank because the original Ghostface, great concept, great characters. Then you start going, it's like his mom and her like
when it starts
on and off boyfriend or something like that. I don't even remember.
When it starts getting into like Scream 2, Scream 3, it's after that it's like you're really falling off.
It's great movies, and I like how meta they are, but it gets to the point where it's just too meta. Yeah, and that's where I find like Scary Movie, a parody of it. They capture that. They capture that perfectly.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, Scream also laid like the baseline for slasher films. Like, I feel like that was when it was like really came into play. Like, here's a bunch of teens, we're gonna kill them, and we're gonna give the person a reason, and it's gonna be crazy, and you're not gonna know who it is. Crazy whodunit stuff, you know? Yeah. And I think that was really good. I think that whole thing, and then in the end, when you find out that it's been Billy and Stu the whole time, you're like, whoa, what the heck? If it's the first time you're watching and you don't know.
And spoiler for a movie that's been out for a little bit, when you're sitting there, you're like, I thought he died like 20 minutes ago. Then all of a sudden, he's a murderer. Like, he was in it the whole time.
He was in it. Oh,
It was ketchup.
I think it was. I was like, Sydney, how did you not know, Queen?
Man, this blood smells funny.
You're right. Like, I feel like I'd be like,
Tastes weird.
It's so weird. But yeah, I mean, personally, if I'm talking about Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, I'm giving them like a 11, 12.
Yeah, I feel like those are 10, but Ghostface, like the character as a whole, definitely goes downhill.
It does go downhill.
I'll give him an 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5.
It as a whole.
Ghostface as a whole deserves an 8.5.
I think if I'm talking about Ghostface just from the original Scream, 100%, definitely a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But like Ghostface through the whole series.
Through the whole series, I'd give it like a 7. I don't know. Should we just wrap it up? I don't really know too much about Jeepers Creepers.
You don't know about Jeepers Creepers?
I do know that he takes people's eyes.
Yeah, I didn't really like. The only Jeepers Creepers movie I watched was a 3, and I have to give the character like a 5 if we're gonna rate him because he's just.
I'll give him a 3 because it does sound scary to get my eyes taken. Sadie.
What'd you say? A 4?
I said a 5.
A 5.
And I said a 3.
We'll go 4. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Jeepers Creepers 3 is a great movie. The rest, trash.
So if you've learned anything from this podcast, is that Chucky and Ghostface are simply the best. That's it. Thank you for joining us.